Alex Ryan-Emmy alongside the coach, Mike Sanford. Let's talk about it. Is J.K. Dobbins Javonte Williams reincarnated?
Nope.
And do you need him?
Nope. As Sean Payton would say, no.
Are you doing a me right now?
No.
Was I doing it? I think I was doing it, Sean Payton.
Let me give you a couple advanced analytics on the oft-injured J.K. Dobbins.
All right.
Who you will be able to get, I believe, on the cheap because of what leg you just said. Achilles and ACL. Not great. Missed time last year. 4 games he missed last year. J.K. Dobbins against loaded boxes, stacked boxes. So you are deficient in your number advantage with how your offensive line and tight end and blocking unit lines up in the box versus the defensive front. J.K. Dobbins last season, coming off of injury, even fighting injury during the season, he rushed 31 times for 208 yards and 4 touchdowns against stacked boxes last season. That's 6.7 yards per carry, which led all running backs in the National Football League with at least 25 carries against stacked boxes. Let me ask you a question, Raj. Is there anybody on the perimeter? Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr., Troy Franklin, Devon Vele, Patrick Bryant. Any of those guys do you think will absolutely terrify a defensive coordinator? Like that is a wide receiver that scares the living crap out of me.
No.
So you're probably going to see some stacked boxes.
Does the wide receiver group scare you because it's so deep?
It's a good wide receiver group.
Also, like as a defensive coordinator, what is more difficult to game plan for? One stud and a bunch of nobodies? So like Calvin Johnson and the rest of the Detroit Lions in the early 2010s, or a wide receiver group like the Broncos, where you kind of look at everyone, you go, well, Cortland Sutton is your 1A, and then it's a bunch of guys who are good, not elite, but they can all hurt you. What's tougher to game plan?
Raj, here's what a Megatron does to a defensive coordinator, Calvin Johnson. It makes you have to have a plan to create either 2-on-1 zone looks, which would be like cover 2 if he's playing outside, or bracket, which is 2-on-1 man looks, where you have a guy pressing him and play trail technique. So let him beat you slightly and then trail him and then have a safety over the top. And you're playing a bracket top down. The problem with that, Raj, is that when you do that, it gets you out of your other defensive coverages, out of your other pressure opportunities. And so when you have a deep group of just, I'd say, solid wide receivers, you can just run your defenses the way that you want to run your defenses. Your coverages can be your coverages, and you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul as a defensive coordinator, which you have to do in true bracket or a lot of zones that account for a guy like Megatron. Or right now I'd say Jamar Chase, but you can't really do it against them. That's the most terrifying thing, is when you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That is terrifying. And the answer for that is you play a whole bunch of cover 2. If you play cover 2, that means you have 2 really high deep safeties that are playing over the top in zone coverage of a guy like Jamar Chase on one side and T. Higgins on the other side. If you're playing 2 safeties really high, what do you think your box looks like to run? It's really good for the other team, right? Really good. The Broncos aren't going to see a lot of really good boxes. They're going to see a bunch of stacked and loaded boxes than they did last year, because them as a vertical passing team is not. It's not bad. It's not terrible. Bo Nix showed that he's capable, but they just haven't shown that they're a team that would scare you enough to not +1 the box, even to utilize an extra player in the box for Bo Nix as a potential run threat, because he's a legitimate dual threat guy. J.K. Dobbins gives you something that is proven. R.J. Harvey is not yet proven that he can move the pile against bad looks. J.K. Dobbins, that is who he is. He's really good at it. And then the second thing that I've been just saying since before the draft, after the draft, third down pass protection, period, point blank, end of story. You don't have that guy right now on the roster. Audric Estime auditioning for it. So if you get J.K. Dobbins, I don't know that Audric Estime is spot on this roster is safe at all. And I don't know if that's necessarily the worst thing for the Broncos.
It's not like you utilized a primo draft selection to get. He's a 5th rounder. You like him because of the tape that he put out at Notre Dame. You like him because of his size. But moving on from a 5th round draft pick just 1 year after you made it, that's not the worst thing in the world. If it was a 3rd rounder, I'd question it. 2nd rounder, I'd certainly be upset about it. But 5th rounder, you're kind of taking a flyer at that point on running backs, hoping that you can find the type of diamond in the rough that other teams have. So I'd be okay with that. I think Dobbins is a good player to take he's not going to be minimum, but he's going to be close to it right now. Take a flyer.
I'm curious as to why the Chargers as a franchise went out and signed Najee Harris. Najee Harris is not a better back than J.K. Dobbins.
He's a healthier back than J.K. Dobbins.
The numbers aren't pretty when it comes to Najee Harris.
I mean, but what do you mean?
I'm talking about the advanced analytics. He's a bit of Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman are going to run the football a lot into bad boxes. J.K. Dobbins was the best in the National Football League at that. Najee Harris has proven at times to be a guy that is a bit of a tackling magnet. I actually think that they got worse. Now, unless they know something about J.K. Dobbins and they're just like...
what they see out of J.K. Dobbins is we see 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons in 17 starts in every single one of those years. Like, that's what they see out of Najee Harris.
Najee Harris has averaged 3.3 yards per carry and 29% success rate on runs directed outside the tackle, which is 3rd lowest amongst running backs with at least 50 such carries. He did not have a good year last year.
He's played literally 2 times the amount in the same time frame. 4 seasons. He has played 68 games in the NFL. J.K. Dobbins has played 37. That's what they saw. They went, we like J.K. He can break tackles. He can make chicken salad out of you-know-what. But the guy never stays on the field. It's very clear why they got rid of J.K. Dobbins. Yeah. And it's very clear why I think that Leggy, while he didn't come out and outwardly say it with the morning show today, went, do you really need him?
You really need him. Who are you counting on 3rd down right now?
Either a rookie or a 2nd-year 5th rounder.
That Sean Payton has already proven doesn't really trust. At least when the playoffs were... Broncos were in the playoffs for the first time and felt like forever. And Najee Harris had just come off of... Audric Estime had just come off of a pretty dang good half of running the football against the Chargers 2 weeks prior. Doesn't see the football but, 3 times in the second half? And then doesn't even make the game day roster, active roster against the Bills. He's not trusted. Jaleel McLaughlin's trusted. But that's not enough lead in his pencil, man. He's not a 220-pound back or 215-pound back like what you got in J.K. Dobbins. I think you have to sign J.K. Dobbins. I don't think it's a luxury. It is a must. You don't have a 3rd down protecting back. What do we always say about Sean Payton? What does he want to do? Does he want to run power and counter and zone and duo? No, he wants to throw the football. What does that require? Pass protecting running back.
How do you like Bo against cover 1?
Right,
because if we're talking about stacked boxes and we're talking about getting bigger running backs that can make what should be a run of no gain into a gain of 2 or 3 on 1st and 2nd down, you're going to see, again, as you said, a lot of cover 1, a lot of single high safety, because there's no threat with this wide receiver group that we zeroed in on there.
No, nothing terrifying. I think there's a threat.
There's no elite threat.
Correct.
I'll give you that. So you're going to see a lot of cover 1. What do you see out of Bo against cover 1?
Well, I think first off, a lot of man coverage, and this is why you saw Lamar Jackson throw for, it felt like, 400 yards? Basically a perfect game.
It was a perfect game.
You know what kind of coverage Vance Joseph played that whole game? Zone. Because he was terrified of man coverage. If you run a go route, what is at least one defender doing? He's turning his back from the quarterback. So the quarterback as a threat to run the football is more viable against man coverage, which is cover 1. So yes, I like Bo Nix against cover 1 as a runner. Does this wide receiver group create enough consistent separation against really good, tight, outside leverage, physical press man coverage? I don't think so. What did the Seahawks do to Bo Nix in week 1? Ton of cover 1. How did Bo Nix play in that game? Not great. Bo Nix will eat up zone. He loves seeing cover 2. Soft cover 4, cover 3, spot drop. Man coverage, it forces his hand to run the rock as a quarterback more so. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
I don't hate that.
I
like that.
I like it too.
The offense opened up when Bo decided to start sprinting. Offense opened up.
It just...
And he doesn't really put himself into bad situations.
He's pretty smart.
I haven't seen that yet.
Pretty smart.
You haven't seen and again, Jaden Daniels is a freak, but you haven't seen the I'm going to open up my body as though I'm Christ on a crucifix and allow a linebacker to spear me at 6'3", 245. Don't look back at him like that was sacrilegious.
I don't know, man. Raj goes through these little times where he just kind of gets a little edgy.
Okay, so if I stand straight up right now,
I just don't want the lightning bolt to come into our studio and smite us again
with my arms out to my left and my right. Give me another descriptor of what I look like right now.
A scarecrow.
Okay, there you go. If I look like a scarecrow, I didn't think you were going to be that quick. I hate you so much.
You actually look like a scarecrow right now. Yeah, you just got paint a little black on your nose. You look like a perfect
You're
little
the worst. You're supposed to not have a rebuttal.
Can I paint your face yellow?
All right, fine. I'll get rid of the crucifix. You look like a scarecrow, and then a linebacker hits you, running at you at 15, 17 miles an hour, 240 pounds. Jaden Daniels is going to get hurt. He's going to mess up a rib. Bo doesn't do that.
No, he's crafty. What I like about Bo is he'll throw his body on the line, like at the goal line, or at the sticks. He'll throw his body on the line.
He'll do the Baker Mayfield thing.
And to
John
me,
Elway helicopter.
To me, that's a smart football player. Don't do it when it's 2nd and 18 and you're running for 6 yards. Like don't get down. And he's good about it. He's really good about it.
Do it at 3rd and 7 on the opponent's 38.
Yeah, like we're good. We're fine. Bo's a really smart, crafty player. I still think that you don't have the pass protector you need right now. Jeff Legwold said it. You come out of rookie mini camp, OTAs, and you're hosting J.K. Dobbins. You got to read the tea leaves. It's not saying that Sean Payton doesn't like his running back group. It's saying that there is a void that was created with not having Javonte Williams in 2025 and not having Samaje Perine, who was unbelievably good as a 3rd down pass protecting specialist. You lost 2 of them over the course of the last 2 years.